What's cooking, folks? Vermillion Phoenix here, and today we're jumping into some more Orcs Must Die Unchained. This time we will be heading into the Crogon Keep with Cygnus, working on finishing up Cygnus's run in the game, to Riftlord at least. And Crogon Keep is a relatively large map, so there's going to be a couple of things that you'll generally be trying to do here. One is to control the speed at which the enemies reach your rift. You want them to get there as slowly as possible or just die before they get there. So you're either going to use a ton of slows and deal with them with your hero damage, or you're going to stack some rapidly firing traps to make sure that they take all of the enemies out. If the traps don't fire fast enough, or they happen to miss enemies, then you're going to wind up with them being at your rift, and that's going to be a problem. So this is kind of the general idea that I have for this map. There's not a lot of ceiling space, but with the ceiling space that there is, swinging maces are particularly good. There's not a lot of fire enemies on this map either, so fire damage is extremely useful. Where are we? We're looking for the Spitfire. There we go. And then you can choose to either bring an additional ceiling trap, something like a ballista that'll catch more things than the swinging mace would, although it'll be for smaller targets. Basically only good for picking off fodder that manages to make it past the heavy damaging traps. Or you can bring an additional ground trap to sprinkle in between the floor scorchers. Choice is really up to you, but I'm going to personally take some floor spikes as they're able to catch larger groups of enemies, and since most things will be slowed in on fire, it shouldn't really be that big of a deal. Then we're going to discount the fire and the normal traps because that's mostly what we're using here, and that should pretty much be it. We want to use a lot of the stable hand guardian because these two areas are particularly close to your rift, and we're going to route the two lanes up here around back. That way we have a good amount of time to take these out while they try to get into while they try to get to the rift quickly. Jeez, I can't even speak right now. And then these guys should be slowed through the traps that we're going to set up here, through the kitchen, and then eventually to the rear of the rift. So let's go ahead and get this started.
I drank my prune juice this morning. Look out!
Okay. So we always have the extra sparkly effects of Cygnus's Rift Lord when we initially hop in. Ooh. Wonder if my PC is running an update on something right now. Seems to have loaded a bit slow, but I think we should mostly be okay. So, a couple of things that are going to be important later, but not particularly right now. Whoa, yeah, we're definitely doing some hard drive reads. This is loading a bit slower than I'm expecting it to. Alright, but we should be fine. So, here. We use these to block off, and I didn't even do that right. There we go. Nothing can come around this way and immediately go into the rift. Now, you can also further block this area by doing something like this, and everything will basically have to go through the kitchen. We're not going to do that this early, just because it's going to waste us time, and this map is already pretty heavy on time. If you look at this, you'll see that the par is 22:45, which is close to 25 minutes, you know, it's a third of an hour. It's pretty long.
I do love traps. Good to be trapping again. Right there. Right there.
Alright, for the most part, we should be able to get away with that. We're going to want to try to do some other things here once we get the opportunity, but we don't have the coin for it right now. We could get it. Just do something like this.
I do love traps.
That actually may be a better way to start. And we also can do something like this, which will make sure, excuse me, that everybody's on fire pretty much as often as they possibly can be. Gonna be a lot of burning. Gonna be a whole lot of minions on fire. And hopefully it'll be a good amount of combos.
They've broken through a gate.
Nice. Chain lightning is actually doing particularly well. Oh, he got me literally on the last moments where it was just spawning. Let me see if I can back up a little bit and get that out. There we go. Being able to regenerate your health and mana by summoning your Rift Shard as well as doubling your damage. Pretty freaking significant.
I do love traps.
I could do one of these too. That's mostly going to be what we're doing here. We're can add a couple of these BGH ballista over here just in case we get any particularly competent mercenary. The only real mercenary that would cause an issue for any of that is the Dwarven Priest. He really only gets taken care of well by I believe the arrow walls. Of course, he would walk into the center. Alright. Gonna take Silver Streak so we can get more of those good old lightning bolts out. Chain lightning. And eventually we're gonna get rid of all this. We're gonna sell it. Hopefully when this is fully repaired due to wall building PhD. If you're not using wall building PhD, there's some other trap setups that I have for this map, which you can basically... Ooh. That was a bit of a spike. Alright, we're going to block this lovely place off. Just because we can, that'll make them definitely go around back.
Our barricades are under attack.
No, not the buggy bear. Alright, good. They managed to save the barricades. Ooh, he did a lot of damage here. Okay. We can start to build the kitchen, but we don't want to waste too much time. I did this completely wrong. For the most part, I can fix it by doing that.
They've broken through a gate.
Alright, so these guys are going to go around back. I haven't set anything up in the kitchen. I should.
That goes there. I do love traps. Perfect.
Which means everything I'm doing right now is essentially shooting myself in the foot.
Barricades are under attack.
Which barricades? Oh, the ones I left. Okay.
They've destroyed our barricades.
Alright, and then when these are, for the most part, cleared out, that guy's gonna die. We can head back here. Gonna grab Paternal Instinct. And we definitely want to put a Stable Hand right here for the extra speed moving around the map whenever we have to come back here if we do again. And then of course it allows us to kite quickly as well whenever we're fighting next to the Stable Hand, which is super useful. We're going to come back here and try to set a bit more of this up. I'm going to build another Stable Hand for the speed boost.
Just like old times.
Block this side off. Alright, those explodey dudes.
Our barricades are under attack. They've destroyed our barricades. That goes there. Good spot for this. That goes there.
That wasn't the way I originally intended to place that. That's the way it came out.
Destroyed our barricades.
Not particularly problematic. Everybody is mostly going to go around back. Once their pathing change, they rarely ever decide that it's a good idea to turn around unless they're particularly close to the rift. Up, and one guy is about to get in. And for the most part, they're usually really good about dying on these stairs. A couple of ballistas can guarantee that, but at the same time, I need to refresh the burn that's happening down here, around here.
I do love traps. Good to be trapping again.
And then these guys are just going to waste everybody's time until they get to Guardian here, who's going to fling some chickens.
Storm calling is a lost art.
And there we go. Ooh, can I get to what I misplaced? Literally, I got stopped by the meat. The meat was in the way.
Perfect.
I quit my post only when properly relieved.
I'd like to make that 2, but it's okay like that. It's not really causing a big deal or anything. You can place some more traps in this section over here to make sure that these guys are properly disposed of. We're just gonna run through and let the traps deal with them mostly. I'm more interested in how everything gets handled over here. If they're okay, and there's really, not much to worry about. Hey, what's going on? I missed. And I couldn't chain on him either. So, I have to wait for him to come back and try to do whatever he plans on doing. And then they're gonna go bug the other guardian that I have set up in the rear. He's overloaded. Guardians do have a cap to how much aggro they can support. Once they reach that cap, that's pretty much it for them.
Enemies are attacking on another front.
So these guys could deal with taking a bit more damage as they walk through here.
Unstable rift is opening.
Hey, what's up, Rift?
Destroy it. We have destroyed the unstable rift.
Just like old times. Perfect.
There we go. We can do
Good
that.
spot for this.
You can probably move around here. But nope, you need to go.
Slipping into a warm path of power.
Oh, forgot he had friends.
I'm just an illusion. Yes,
Alright, most important thing is making sure whoever gets up here is dead.
this is addicting.
And then we're going to take advantage of Rift Lord by getting close to this rift and blasting that guy into pieces. Take every advantage of the fact that Chain Lightning is a hit scan attack and cast it on enemies that are as grouped up as possible, regardless of the distance. And they're going to die just doing what they do in there. These guys will mostly be grouped up into like this little tiny corner space. I do want to sell this and push it up a bit. Alright, there we go. He's dead. And boom. So we move this up a bit. And then we can fling these guys over and burn everybody back here. We can also get them to burn a bit over here and spike this area up a bit. Now if we wanted to, we could add some extra fire stuff here. I don't think that's a bad move. Do something like that.
Good spot for this.
And this. Ooh, and we're gonna hop through the portal because I don't want to deal with whatever they are trying to sell. Not gonna work for me.
Just like old times.
Our barricades are under attack.
These should be
Destroyed our barricades.
Grenadier Knolls. Whatever barricade they destroyed was just something that I placed to space them at the end there. They're still gonna take damage from that the Viscous Tar and Floor Scorcher that were set up over there, just not as efficiently. But at the same time, it doubling as decoy barricade is really useful. Alright, and those guys that just jumped in this, over where the stairs are, more gnolls. Not really worried about them actually causing damage to the rift, but I could use the coin.
A zap for you, and you, and you.
You can see with the conga line here, a lot of these enemies have like significantly different amounts of HP. That means they're not getting caught by enough traps. I can increase the trap density a bit, but at the same time, we're worried more about getting something built for the next batch of buffoons that we're going to have to shoot down. And because they still have a gate to beat, we can just go ahead and ready this up.
Our enemies are breaking through elsewhere.
But generally, you want to always stay in this area. That's the best place for you to be while you're trying to soften these guys up.
I do love traps.
Let me get the most damaging traps up first, of course. Mess that up just a bit.
Many minions, one lifeless.
Okay. So we're going to point these towards that.
Good to be trapping again.
And we're going to place another guardian here. Again, stable hand.
Enough coin for that.
My connection
We
with
want
the
the speed.
Rifters is growing stronger. Storm calling is a lost art.
And I grabbed get off his lawn, or get off my lawn technically, for the last perk. If you're near the rift or you summon the rift shard, you get 3 extra chains on your lightning, which normally chains 4 times, or hits one enemy chain 3 times. So it hits 4 targets. That makes it go up to 7, and makes it really good for taking out groups, especially when you consider that that extra damage that you'll be getting on everything because of it. We're gonna go ahead and do that too. And that'll just make it a bit easier for us to keep everything damaged, especially as they're going through those twists and
They
turns.
summoned a boss minion.
I don't really care about this boss. Like, we really don't care about this boss. He's gonna get wrecked.
Watch out! An unstable rift.
That we
is
kinda
opening.
care
Get
about.
to it and destroy it.
Now, because of the stuff that we set up over here, we should be able to go over here, destroy this unstable rift, then head back to the center to clean up anything that gets past our guardian.
And our heroes destroyed the unstable rift.
That's part of the reason why you set the Viscous Tar up relatively close to the gates. Not just because it's a good idea for slowing the enemies down, but because it prevents them from getting close to anything else too soon.
Boss is dead.
Yep, boss wrecked. Alright, and then you got whatever manages to get up here. Now, there's a couple things you could actually do here. One of them is to do something like this so that they learn to hug the wall, but it's not the best thing to do. You could just set up some of these, and that's really it. You will cook whatever is trying to go down there, and that's pretty much the last bit of damage you want to set up using a trap setup like this without just taking care of them yourself. I need to get in there and help my guardian. Alright, where are we going next? We're just about to finish off the last few waves here. So I'm going to hold off just so I can sell that, and then we're going to move back here. Oh, yeah, there was still that I need to fix. Oh, and I just killed myself. I'll be alright. I had plenty of time though. Wrong way. There we go. Okay, so that looks like
Barricades are under attack.
it's another bouncer bear.
A zap for you and you and you. Just like
Alright, so that bouncer bear can quickly become a problem if not taken care of. As long as he is going over something that's not particularly dangerous, you're fine. There we go. And then we can get next to the rift so we can take these guys out as soon as possible. You do want to make sure you deal as much damage to those guys and try to pick a single target just to make sure you're not spreading the damage out. If they happen to be wrong, they'll be disabled for a few seconds, and that'll just make killing the other one a bit easier. There, good as dead. Alright, and we've done about 2/3 of the traps that can go on the map. There's still some really good trapping that we have left to do. That'll help clear these enemies out a lot sooner. It's going to include this, this.
they will not reach the rift.
There we go. So you're seeing most of what they've been doing. That'll slow them down significantly. And anything that's not actually set to just kamikaze onto a barricade will essentially just walk through that. And because of how long it takes them to get there, you have plenty of time to clean up the two right lanes. There we go. These guys are mostly dead already, which is really nice. Oop.
I do love traps.
Okay, and one last thing we can do is place one of these bad boys over here.
Right there. The rift will be protected. I quit my post only when
If you're still feeling a little bit scared about how fast enemies are getting to your rift on the right side, you can place some tar up here
now I will be even better
through that last sort of entryway. And I've got a lot of trap space left, 22 slots, so we're going to do that. Because remember, the more time you give yourself to deal with
Trapping again.
the orcs as they come through, the less of a headache you'll have from each wave. It means more time for you to trap, it means more time for your traps to work.
Everyone gather round for health and mana.
Get a nice fill up there. Also, always remember that you can jump and right click. As long as you can make sure that you keep your aiming right, it will save you a bit of time since you don't have to actually stop. and this is a very slow and steady way to sort of complete the map. It will push you towards the end of the par time, but it's pretty consistent. So if you don't want to scramble or do anything that's like very character specific, you could probably complete it significantly faster if you're not talking over a video, kind of like me.
Made it to the final wave.
And we could use a little bit more Bernie stuff over here.
I do love traps.
And maybe some here too.
A boss is on its way.
This is one of the few times where you'll actually want to be here.
Storm calling is a lost
We're gonna set this up. And what we're doing here is we're actually looking for 2 before to get close.
Boss
Bomb their beat stick. Head through the portal here. And set up a little bit of flames for these guys. And then shock these guys as they come through. They're really the most dangerous thing on that last wave just because they get some extra beef. Would also help if I wouldn't miss as much. And then we just gotta clear these last batch of guys out. The traps will do it for you. You really don't have to do too much yourself. And then that happens, and then they just kind of cook themselves.
in life, victory.
Then we get the happy dance. Now, as large as that map is, and because there's a lot of moving around, faster characters are actually going to make up for the lack of damage that they deal compared to Cygnus. And so movement speed is still going to be super important there. But overall, the main thing is to just make sure that you keep the enemies pathed. You can use a couple of decoy barricades if you want to make sure that they don't blow up any of your important pathing materials, and make sure that you clear out the heavier enemies so that they don't tie up your traps. They will if you let them, and the right area is pretty much the one that you want to try to clear first with this particular path setup, because you have a lot more time to clear out what's on the left with them having to come up the rear, and you can kind of just fight your way back through after the right side is guaranteed to be clean. So that's going to be Crogon Keep. We're going to be moving on to the last map in the game, Eventide Fortress, once this is done, and then we will be moving on to Tundra, who I think is winning the poll. Let me actually double check that right now. All right, we have this. Yeah, Tundra's winning pretty hard. So that's going to be the next hero that we go into a full playthrough of Riftlord for, and we'll see what's helping when we get there. Either way, let me know what you guys think of this. If there's anything else that you would like to see, feel free to let me know that too. You're probably going to start seeing some live streams pop up on the channel. These aren't particularly set in stone yet, but I'm going to start mixing them in with the regular content for the channels, just because sometimes I don't have time to actually put together an entire string of videos. Also, there's some games that I just want to play, and I don't really think trying to put together like a long playthrough of those videos is necessarily the best way to go about it. I could just stream it, and you know, you guys will be able to watch the stream if you're there. You can say hi to me, we can talk while I'm playing the game, and archive will stay up on the channel afterwards, so if anybody misses it and they want to watch it, they can do so and leave a comment after the fact. So either way, it should be pretty good, and you know, hopefully everybody enjoys it either way. But I've said either way probably too many times in the last 3 minutes. But let me know what you guys think of the idea. I've opened up things like channel memberships to, you know, sort of enhance that a bit, and uploaded my first badge and did some other things. There's going to be more stuff coming to the channel depending on how successful, you know, the live streams or anything else is, and you know, we'll see where it goes from there. Either way, I do want to thank everybody that's joined the channel and followed recently, followed in the past. because, you know, you guys are pretty much the reason that I keep doing this, and I'm enjoying it. So until next time, as always, thank you guys for being here. Take care of yourself, and as always, have a good one, folks.